the question is, how big is your Twitter team now, and did you have to cost justify? That's one part of the question. And how would you recommend scaling responses to social media, engaging with the customer? That's kind of a second part of that question. So how big is your team? How did you get there? And how would you recommend other brands scale their operations to be able to respond to, or not respond to, the level of customer service they have? Who wants to start? Frank, you want to start?
I'll start. Okay, so today, if anyone pays attention to Comcast Cares, I don't Twitter as much as I used to. My team is Twittering. I have 10 different people that are in social media throughout the internet. We're in forums, we're in blogs, YouTube, as well as Twitter, Facebook, what have you. And there's different ways that you can certainly make it scale. First, the easiest method. Twitter is a good example. We, on average, have one person on at a time from 7 a.m. Eastern Time to 11 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, and 8 to 5 on weekends. So that's a simplistic way. One person on. Okay, I know I'm responsible. Now, when we have press coverage, we get a little busy. And usually some people who don't know what Twitter even is. And so that becomes interesting. There's ways to scale it. Now, I'll give you two different ways. When that first happened the first time, we weren't using tools. And so we actually used the Twitter name that was tweeting to us. And we would say, okay, you have A through Z, you have A through L, I have M through whatever. Now, as it grows, now we're at 10 people. You have to be able to scale this. There's a lot of great tools out there, things like CodeTweet, things like, Radiant 6 is a great tool. Someone is here from Radiant 6 tonight, so they'll be happy to have the plug. And there's tools being developed every single day. One of the things is I'm in contact all the time with different companies, and they're like, we're developing this, we like your help. And so I always will talk to them. And like, as a good example, Salesforce.com is building in their CRM platform a way of dealing with Twitter. And we've been working on testing that. And you can then prioritize it and ticket it. So there's different tools in development. There's stuff that's not been thought of. But let's face facts. Twitter is a good example as an open API. If there's not a tool out there, build it. It's not that hard. And build it to what works for you. So that's how you scale it, in my opinion. But you do, here's the next piece to it, we purposely do not have one ID. So this is what's different than I think some other brands. A lot of brands have their ID. Every one of my people have their own IDs. They represent themselves. So I have Comcast Bill, Comcast Bonnie. But in fact, she may still be on there. If everyone wants to tweet out to Comcast Bonnie, I said hi, it will drive her search nuts.
Make sure she's working, right?
That will keep her busy, it's great. If I ever want to mess with their heads, I'll think of something really good to say that will be retweeted, and I'll wait till someone's on, a certain person's on, and I'll go in and I'll put it out there. And I can actually, from my office, hear them yell. And all I do is laugh.
I think you can hear from here.
Yeah, I'll hear Bonnie yell from here. So there's definitely ways for this to scale. This is one of the most easiest mediums to scale. And it's very similar. Email. When email first came out, people, that doesn't scale, huh? That scales great. It's easy. But companies stayed away from it. If you were in business at that time, think about it. Tons of companies were like, I can't touch that. Now we all look at it like, yeah, why not? That makes total sense. Social media, especially places like Twitter, scales 100%. The other piece, though, that I would advise is instead of having to scale it, train all your employees to be on it. Encourage them all to be out there. That's actually the win situation for everybody. And I think that's something that companies have missed the boat on.
So, Elliot, I know you've been using CodeTweet as one of the tools you've used at Alaska Airlines. Maybe you can give us some idea. I think you're just starting to discover the scalability question. Maybe share what you've learned there.
Yeah, well, I'm the primary person on the account, but then we have some representatives in customer care, and corporate communications is involved, and marketing, and also reservations. So I usually a question will come in, and then I will direct that to the next person. They'll get the answer, and then I'll respond with that answer. And at first, we didn't really want to get too tool heavy because we had a lot of discussions with agencies and partners and whatnot, just saying that it's probably good that we're manual right now because you get to know people and you get to know the problems and what they're dealing with, and it's in your face. So we were using TweetDeck for the longest time, and what I found is that as I would talk to the same people every day or have recurring issues, or someone had a customer service failure, I want to be able to record that information about that individual so I have it later on. And that's when I learned about CodeTweet, which is basically a lightweight CRM. And you can, it's like a river of tweets, and you can assign the tweets as they come in to different people, and you can take notes on what's going on with that person. Like, okay, this person is in transit, and you can easily see the threaded conversations. That has tremendous value for us because I can easily pass that on to the next person, and they can kind of quickly build the context. I think that's the hardest thing for us on scaling is like, okay, there's a lot of information we need to collect from these customers as we start to piece together what's going on. And right now, we're kind of at the beginning of the scaling stage and kind of helping develop some of the guidelines and really evangelizing it internally in the company. I think I meet with a new department every week. And like Brad said before, our timing was really great because I think we were just pre-Oprah, and we had a natural disaster up in Alaska, the volcano eruption, and we didn't really have a formal strategy for Twitter, but it just took off, and we were in the right place at the right time, and so now we're formalizing everything that we've kind of done thus far, and we're asking the question, okay, in this situation, what do we do? Who owns this? And because there's actually a lot of departments. It is a singular voice. It goes through me right now, but we're trying to get more and more people involved. And I think that I don't know. I guess that's all I have to say about that. Did I answer the question?
I think that was great. And Brad, before I throw it over to you, Ocho Joe has a question. Is Ocho Joe here? Let me know. You'll get your chocolate, Joe. How do you manage the massive inflow of tweets? And I felt like you could roll that into your scalability answer, so I'd throw that at you now.
Yeah, so I'm the only person that tweets from the Starbucks account. I went on vacation in June and gave it to my boss. Luckily, he did a good job. I knew he would. I like to use the tool CodeTweet as well. Threaded conversations are really important. There's a lot of customers that I know their conversation, I recognize their avatar. But to be able to see what they've said before is really valuable because then you can provide something witty, or you can try to provide something witty. So I like the tool CodeTweet. I read every single @reply and DM. I can't read every single time they mention Starbucks. It's not possible. There's a study that came out for a week in March. We were the most talked about brand on Twitter. So to read every single tweet would be an impossible feat.
Maria, same question, scalability, and I know you actually have a real-time example of this because your primary social media outlet is not feeling well, is that right?
Yes. Look, my primary social outlet is not feeling well. What was that?
Scalability.
Okay, so anyway, we have 3 people that are tweeting. 2 are in corporate communications, and the other person is the person that runs our Facebook as well. And what we do, though, in our culture is that we have people continuously feeding us ideas. We have an organic program manager, for example. We have farmers that we own farmland, and they're blogging about the harvest and the plantings and things that are going on. And then they're responsible for their own thing that they're in charge of. So if it's Dag, who's our organic program manager, he's with the farmers. Our founder, is kind of watching out for organic legislation and some neat things that are going on there. Events, the person that's in charge of our events, they're all feeding the people that are twittering all day ideas on that. And then the person who is tweeting really has been coached well in our voice and is having a lot of fun and engaging people, and we try to direct respond as much as we can. I know that's going to be very hard here soon if we continue to grow. We started with maybe 3 or 4 people joining us, and we're up to about 25 to 30 a day right now, which we've only been doing it for a couple months, so it's pretty exciting to watch it grow. And it's really exciting to tell all of our stakeholders what the ROI is on that and how we're actually growing and drawing those numbers. So.
Fantastic. I believe we have a question in the back. Tim has a question.